Hi, I'm State Representative Ryan Mackenzie, and welcome to another episode of Legislative Report. Today we're at one of Pennsylvania's greatest natural wonders, historic Crystal Cave, here in Richmond Township in Berks County. I'm joined today by Catherine Campbell. She is the president of Historic Crystal Cave. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
So we're here in front of the cave right now. Why don't you start by just telling us a little bit about the cave and its history?
Okay. Well, the cave was discovered on November 12th, 1871 by two farmers searching for limestone, blasted a hole inside the mountain here and saw a black hole, put their hand in, and they felt an empty space and decided, boy, we must have really found something special here. So they went down to the local tavern that evening and got together excuse me, with a group of explorers who went into the cave a few days later with tallow candles and coal oil lanterns, and were really surprised to find a cave of considerable size. So word spread quickly, and all of a sudden people started coming over on their horse and buggies and their horses and trying to explore the cave, and a local neighbor decided he wanted to develop the cave into a commercial operation. So that's what he did. And they had a grand illumination on May 25th, 1872.
Great. Now what is it that makes Crystal Cave unique?
Well, we are known for having a lot of special formations inside our cave. We have an abundance of formations, and they're milky white stalactites, stalagmites, flowstone, and the crystals, of course. There's two types of crystals inside of Crystal Cave. There's the aragonite crystal and the calcite crystal.
Oh. Now what's the difference between those two crystals?
Well, the one has 8 sides to it, and the one has 6 sides to it, so that's the only really difference.
Okay, great, and we're going to get to see some of that inside?
You will indeed.
All right. Now, the temperature of the cave is also unique. Tell us a little bit about that.
The temperature of the cave is pretty constant between 54 and 56 degrees all year round. It may vary slightly depending on where you are inside the cave. The deeper you are in the cave, at 125 feet, it's a little cooler. And up on Lookout Point, where you're closer to the surface, it's about 2 degrees warmer.
Okay, all right.
So it's nice in the summer, it's air conditioning for the summer weather, and it's nice in the winter because you can get out of the weather.
Sure, that's great. Now, here at Crystal Cave, you also have a bunch of other attractions.
We
Tell
do.
us about those.
We also have 2 gift shops. We have miniature golf, and we have painting for gemstones. We have a nature trail. We have a fast food restaurant and an ice cream parlor. Some of these facilities are only open during our main summer season, which is between Memorial Day and Labor Day. So you'll have to check our website for what's open.
But you are open year-round?
No, we're not. We're open March 1st through November 30th.
Oh, okay.
We close for 3 months during the winter.
All right. And now, what's your favorite part about the cave?
Oh, I really like, well, I like a lot of it, but I think my favorite probably is the ear of corn.
Okay.
Formation. It's a big stalactite, and it's like 5 feet tall, and we will show you a picture of it.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that. Now, how did you get involved with Crystal Cave?
I got involved with Crystal Cave because it was a family operation.
Okay.
My grandfather bought it in 1923. My father became president in 1972, and I became president in 2007.
Great.
So it's been a dual family operation between the Kaufman family and the DeLong family.
Okay. And so third generation.
Third generation, and my children have worked here too.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, we hope the tradition carries on here at Historic Crystal Cave then. All right. Well, thank you. And I guess we're going to head in on a tour. And so we're going to check out all the different sites, and we'll look for the ear of corn as well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. We are now inside of Historic Crystal Cave, and I'm joined by the assistant manager here, Doug Miller. Doug, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. All right. We are at the first stop here. Before we get started on the specifics of the tour, maybe you can just tell us a little bit just about cave formations and how long they take to form.
Okay, well, this is a limestone cavern. It was formed by running water. A long time ago, according to scientists millions of years ago, there was a river running through here, and it hollowed out the cave. And then when the mountains rose up in this area, the water slowly drained away, leaving behind the hollow passages here.
Oh, wow.
And then dripping water actually and flowing water actually help form the formations that you will find in the cave today.
No kidding. All right. Well, it's beautiful. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what we see here at the first stop?
Sure. Well, Crystal Cave was discovered, as was mentioned, on November 12th, 1871. And by the light coming from outside, when those farmers came in here, This formation here is the first formation and only formation they would have been able to see without any other artificial light. We call this formation our ice cream cone because it looks like an upside down ice cream cone with 3 flavors.
All right.
We have vanilla flavoring,
Yep.
which is pure calcite. That's what the majority of our formations are made of. We have chocolate, which is iron oxide or rust,
Okay.
mixed with the calcite. And we also have a little bit of green, which is our mint pistachio flavor, which is plant life. It's spores that come in on our clothing from outside. And it grows because of the moisture in the cave and also because of the lights.
All right.
Now, this formation here is actually what we call a stalagmite.
Okay.
And above on the ceiling is a stalactite. They form by dripstone, so that's dripping water. And the dripping water evaporates, leaving behind its calcite,
Okay.
which forms the stalactites, and excess water dripping down forms the stalagmites, which grow upwards.
Oh, okay.
And for a formation to grow 1 inch, it takes about up to 500 years.
500 years.
So
Wow.
according to scientists, our ice cream cone formation is about 84,000 years old.
No kidding. All right.
And it's a dripstone that forms it,
Okay.
dripping water.
All right. So stalagmite coming up from the ground.
Stalagmite might one day grow up to the ceiling, while stalactite holds tightly to the ceiling. That's one good way to remember them.
All right. That's a good way to remember that. I like that.
Now, another type of formation besides dripstone would be flowing water, and this is what we call flowstone. It
Boy, that's
forms
beautiful.
by water flowing down the wall. And again, it takes just as long to grow, for 1 inch up to 500 years.
All right. And now, is this a common feature in a cave like this?
Yes. In our cave in particular, you'll find a lot of flowstone, a lot of different formations. All caves are unique and different, but I've been in quite a few, and we do have a lot more formations than some of the other ones that I've seen.
Okay. Now, what's your favorite feature about the cave here?
My favorite feature is, I like the totem pole, which we'll see later on our
right.
tour.
Great.
That's what happens when a stalagmite and a stalactite come together and form what we call a column.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of things to look forward to. Thank you for doing the introduction. Where are we going to head to next?
We're going to move on to our next room, the storage room, and I'll tell you about that as we move along. You will see a red light as we go on. Whenever you see a red light, that's a wish light, because if you don't see it, you'll wish you had.
Okay.
Because you might hit your head. It means there's a low-hanging rock.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Okay. All right, if we can proceed.
All right, we are here at the next stop on the tour, Doug. Beautiful room. We've seen a number of neat features on our way here already. Tell us about where we are right now.
We call this room our storage room. It's one of the smallest rooms in the cave. We call it our storage room because when the farmers first discovered the cave, they thought it would be a really good idea to store their crops.
Okay.
That didn't work out so well for them because
All right.
of humidity and moisture in the air.
Okay.
But we call this a storage room because you might be able to see some crops they tried to store here. Here we have the stalk and head of our giant mushroom.
Yeah, sure. Look at that.
Above we have some carrots and cucumbers.
Okay. Yep. Can see them up there. Now, what's the different coloring of those formations?
Well, there's calcite, is the white, and then there's different minerals mixed in,
Okay.
such as the iron oxide or rust.
Great.
And then you
beautiful.
can see some green, which is from the plant life that comes in again on our clothing as little spores.
Yep. Great. What else? What are the other features in this room that make it unique?
We also have a type of formation called a drapery. It forms when water runs down the wall at an angle. And we call this our bacon with a little mold, our moldy bacon.
Yep. And now, what's the material that makes up the drapery like that?
That is also mostly calcite with minerals mixed in.
That's calcite.
We do have our ribbon candy behind you, which is more of the pure calcite variety of a drapery.
Okay. And now these different formations, it's just because of the natural contours of the stone and how the water's running that they form in these ways?
Yes, the drapery forms when water runs down the wall at an angle.
Okay.
The flowstone is flowing water. The dripstone is stalagmites, stalactites, and columns.
Gotcha. Okay. And now how long would something like this take to form typically?
About the same amount of time.
Same
for
time.
an inch,
So-
about up to 500 years.
Wow. Okay. All right, and now when we're going through a cave like this, there are some animals in here you mentioned when we were walking down
There
here.
are, and we're going to be passing our Crystal Cave Zoo a little bit later.
Okay.
And then you'll see some of those animals. But in the meantime, I can show you one. Here's Edgar, our bald eagle.
Oh, look at that. Right there, hiding in front of us, is Edgar the bald eagle. You can see him in the stone right there.
In the head.
Absolutely. Well, that's great. Okay, well, thanks, Doug. We appreciate you telling us a little bit about the storeroom. Where are we going to head to next?
We're going to now head into the crystal ballroom, which is the deepest part of the cave and where our two types of crystals are located.
Sounds great. Let's go.
Okay, sounds good. Watch your head, everybody.
We've made our way down to the crystal ballroom, which is the lowest point in the cave, 125 feet below surface. There's also some history to this room. Doug, why don't you tell us what we're seeing here?
Well, we call this room the Crystal Ballroom, and we call it that for a couple of reasons. One, in the early 1900s, when visitors used to spend the night in the hotel that used to be here, in the hot summer nights, they used to have hoedowns and square dances in this room.
All right, there you go. That's a good use for this space.
We've also had 3 baptisms and 3 weddings in the cave.
Wow.
Over the years, and we even have an altar rock used for the ceremonies.
Great.
Now, we also call this the Crystal Ballroom because there are 2 types of crystals in this room.
Okay.
The first type is on the wall over here. You can see by my flashlight some shiny and sparkly crystals. These are 6-sided calcite crystals. Now, when the first explorers came in here and saw the sparkles, they thought they struck it rich with diamonds. But when they took it to a local jeweler, they were informed that they're not. They have about the value of table salt.
Okay. Well, it's still beautiful on the wall there.
And they also dissolve in water.
Oh.
So
okay.
they're protected by a ledge up above.
Uh-huh.
But where the ledge gave way at one point, they dissolved and formed flowstone.
Yes.
So these are 6-sided crystals. The other type of crystal are 8-sided aragonite crystals down this way. You can see them, they're much bigger than the calcite crystals. They do have 8 sides. And one thing about aragonite crystals is that they only grow underwater. So they are proof that the cave was formed by running water at one point, and they have not been growing for millions of years.
All right, well, that's fascinating. So to reiterate, we have 6-sided crystals and 8-sided crystals.
Yes.
And the names of those?
6-sided crystals are calcite, 8-sided crystals are aragonite.
All right, great. Well, you're giving us a lot of valuable information here. I appreciate your knowledge as a tour guide. And when we go through a room like this, you can also see the size of this. Look at the ceilings up above. Just beautiful space here in the crystal ballroom.
Yes, this is a very large area. Behind you actually is what we call a drop rock. During an earthquake millions of years ago, it was a very large earthquake, and the drop rock behind you fell from the ceiling to its present location, which formed the storage room.
Ah, okay. All right.
Before
So
that, it
drop
was
rock.
one giant room until the earthquake, and then now we have the storage room.
Great. Okay. All right, Doug, we're going to head to one more stop.
Yes.
The next stop has your favorite item.
Yep, it has the totem pole.
All right, let's go check it out.
Sounds good.
Doug, we're at your favorite spot on the tour, the totem pole stop. I can see the totem pole there in the distance. Tell us what that is and what it's made out of.
Yes, our totem pole here goes up and down the length of the wall. It's actually what we call a column, which again, a column forms when a stalagmite and a stalactite meet in the middle. And this is the largest formation in the cave. It's about 14.5 feet long. And according to scientists, it's one of the oldest formations in the cave at about 500,000 years old. And we call it our totem pole because if you look along it, you can see some faces.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can make those out there. Now, so the totem pole is just one feature in this room. There are many incredible things going on right here in front of us.
Yes, there are.
I also see some water over there.
Yes. Here we have Lake Inferior, which is the largest body of water in the cave.
Yep.
It holds about a gallon of water.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that's an interesting feature, but again, there's so much to see here.
Yes.
We really just did a very short, abbreviated tour. I would recommend anybody who wants to come back and see the cave in all of its real glory needs to see it in person and get the full tour.
Yeah, the full tour lasts an hour.
Okay. great. Well, again, if somebody's lucky and fortunate to have you on the tour as their guide, they're going to get a great experience, a lot of valuable information that you provided us today. So I want to thank you for allowing us to join you here.
Well, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
All right, we're going to go check out the gift shop on our way out, but thank you again, Doug.
Thank you.
Now that we've concluded our tour of historic Crystal Cave, we're in the gift shop before leaving. They have all kinds of neat stones and crystals for sale. And again, we only got to scratch the surface on our tour here. We saw about 15 minutes of historic Crystal Cave. The full tour is an hour long, and they're open from March through November. So again, I would really encourage you to come out and see one of Pennsylvania's greatest natural wonders right here in Richmond Township, Berks County. And again, I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Legislative Report. I'm State Representative Ryan Mackenzie, and we'll see you next time.